Hey, how's it going, everybody? Okay, let's get into this. Let's try goals for 70 today. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. A little bit about haven't played in the past half a week. See how it go. So I'm just going to play it away I normally play. And just let the zombies spawn in. Going to try and maximise points for the first 5 rounds. Then we're going to hit the box. Oh my goodness. This PlayStation controller. I would use my PlayStation 4 controller, but I can't find my micro USB cable at the moment. Okay, these two windows. One through here, one through there. Where the other two going to come from? One through here, one through there. Okay, nice spread. Now I'm repairing for. I'm repairing the window to 4 boards because that's the most you can get from round 1. But round 2 you can get 9, so there's 1, and then 6 from this one put me on 7. I just need to do 2 more after this one. Now I've only got 2 clips, well I should only have 2 clips, but my control's a little bit sensitive. So with this, I'll be trying to shoot 2 zombies with the 1 clip, 2 plus zombies. Try and get 2 for the price of 1 clip, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to try and knife them all with that, and hope there's no nuke or insta kill on this seed on round 2. Double points, okay. That's definitely a lot better than a nuke or insta-kill. I mean, insta-kill isn't too bad. It's only real... it just prolongs the round. The nuke is what we really don't want to hit. Excuse me, zombie, where are you? There you are. There we go. And then... and round 3 you can hit... it's 13 boards. Even 1 more board. But I actually do need to hit the carbine. And it's 4 shots and then a knife to kill. And that gives you max points, or you could just go for headshots or whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to try and do as many zombies as possible. And I will... something I personally do is I will try and separate the zombies if they clump up a little too much. Just so I can try and maximise points even more. And there's the insta-kill. I'm just gonna Honestly, I'm just gonna wait it out. Actually, I don't need to. The reason I'm doing this is because the double points gave me a nice boost in terms of points. And I don't want it to prolong around too long when I don't really need to. Like, I've still got next round to go through. Oh my goodness. The sensitivity of this controller. I've still got next round to go through. And, round 5, basically. So, to get, like, my goal was 12,000 points as a minimum. And so, once I hit that, I'll be able to hit the 2 doors and then have 10 hits in the mission box, roughly. So, you don't have to be like, you don't have to, like, whore up the points as much as what, like, I do. But the way I tend to do it also gives me generally gives me more hits in the box than what you would if you didn't try and get as many points as possible. Now, the reason I need repeater boards this round, any windows this round, is to prevent clumping up, because this is the round where if you do block the windows, they are going to clump up a lot more. And the less they clump up, the more points you can get. There's a max ammo, that's actually really nice. That's actually really lucky he hit the right zombie. As you can see, the zombies are clumped up. But I killed enough of the zombies that it's not a huge problem. Like, I was going to go get this one because it's easy. And no nuke, that's actually really nice. I'm just going to hit this, so if I do happen to get the magical double max ammo, I can make most of it. I figured I already hit one of them, the wrong one once. I may as well just try and maximize points as much as possible. Now, I only need to get 4,000 points, well, less than 4,000 points, so I can do what I was aiming to do, which is actually really easy to do when you just used it. 1911. So what I'm going to do, compared to the other rounds, is I'm just actually going to group up the zombies. And by grouping up the zombies, I can get, from like round 2, that 2 for 1 special on the points and for bullets, but when you get all of them together, it's like 8 for 1, more like it. So it's pretty good. Like, you get a pretty good deal for your ammo. And say each bullet gives you 80 points. I mean, this is just theoretical numbers. I haven't actually done the actual proper testing for it. But say each bullet gives you 80 points. One clip gives you 640 points. And so, to get 4,000 points, you only need to go through 8 clips, which is which the pistol basically gives you. Now, obviously, you're not going to get 80 points per bullet, but this is just theoretical numbers we're working with. And I believe I need to look into it, but I believe round 5 is the first round where you get 24 zombies as well. So, you know, it's a good trade-off. That's weird. I didn't actually press triangle. It's just my controller messing up a little bit. Which is why I think I should start using the PlayStation 4 controller more. And after I run out of the ammo, I'm just going to try and headshot them. Just to get as many points as possible. Wow, double nuke. That's not what you want, because now I've sort of closed myself off in terms of an exit route. But fortunately enough, the zombies are easy enough to kill. It's actually given me a great way to actually clear out one zombie to leave alive, so when I hit the box, I am mostly undisturbed. And here I'm hoping for the flamethrower, but if in the 11 hits I've got I don't get the flamethrower, I'm happy with the ray gun. If I don't get the ray gun or the flamethrower, I'm happy with one of the LMGs, so the MG or the Browning. I'm gonna get one of those two. Those are actually low tier priorities, but if I don't get either of those two, I'm happy with either the STG, the MP40, or the Thompson. So I've got choices. PTS is not one of those choices. I mean, it does work. It does work these early rounds, a lot of one-shot kills. But it's unfortunately not the type of weapon I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that can build up points. I mean, realistically, you want something that can kill. So PSR wouldn't actually be a terrible choice. I prefer to have the MG42, to be honest. Just because I feel it's got a quicker reload, I haven't looked at the stats, but I feel like it's got a quicker reload. But ideally, in these next 4 hits, I hit something like a Thompson, MP40, STG, ray gun, or flamethrower. If not, I'm perfectly happy running the MG42 until that runs out of ammo. And it does do quick work of the zombies. So, it does an MP40. So that's a lot more preferable because of the movement speed. As you can just tell there, like, instant increase in movement. Oh, Thompson. I prefer to Thompson. Now this is correct, this might be seem crazy. I'd actually prefer to Thompson. Take the Thompson over to MP40. Purely because you can buy more ammo for it off the wall. I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense considering, presumably once I run out of ammo on this, I'm just going to be hitting the box again. And yeah, that's correct. But I feel like Thompson is a bit more of a safer choice. It's a faster fire rate. I think it's got a slightly faster reload. Okay, so ending it with the Thompson. I'm just going to knife a zombie to death, just so, 1, if I was close enough to 950 points, I could hit the box again, and 2, I can conserve the ammo on the Thompson, because this is just going to last me until it runs out of ammo, and then I'm going to hit the box once more, and try and get the flamethrower, or better. So at this stage, I'm looking for flamethrower or ray gun out of my box. Now round 6, you don't really need to start training up the zombies. The only reason I did that round 5 is just to maximize the points and try and get to that 12,000 point minimum I like to hit. But round 6 and sort of round 6 to 10, if you can, you can just kill the zombies as they come in. Preferably after they've gone through the window, so you can get any drops they may drop. And obviously, this is the first round where running zombies come in. So, as you may have noticed, there have been no running zombies up to this point. That's going to change this round onwards. The zombies are going to start moving faster and faster. They're going to start spawning in quicker and quicker. Until I actually can't kill them as they spawn in. I'm trying to get the headshots because 1, it gets a quicker kill, and 2, you get 100 points from the kill. Now what I'm doing here, I'm actually going to take advantage of insta-kills and nukes just to speed up rounds. There's no point of trying to maximize points because 1 round I've gotten 5,000 points, It's completely like I mean the double points helped, sure, but it's completely different. It's completely different with round 6 onwards because you're going to be able to build up points a lot easier, a lot quicker. Where it took me 5 rounds to get to 1,300 points, it's only going to take me 3 rounds to do that. Sorry about that. Okay, so here what I'm trying to, I'm keeping an eye on this window because this is my most dangerous threat at this stage, and I'm just trying to kill the zombies as they come in, try and speed up the rounds a little bit, but at the same time I've actually nearly run out of ammo already in this gun. But this zombie looks like it's gonna be it's the last one, so I'm gonna. Actually, I was wrong about that, but these two should be quick work. I'm going to hit the box again. I'm just going to try and hit it till I get something better. If not, I might just refill ammo, or I mean, I've got a few shots of this, so I'm just going to quickly speed up, try and expedite the process as much as possible. Oh. This is the kind of awkward part of these early rounds, because you think you've killed all of them except for one, and then you've got another couple that appear, just because of the slow spawn rates. The only reason I'm swapping weapons out is just I'm trying to expedite the process of going through the box. Next time it lands on a weapon which I'm willing to take, I'm going to grab that and just stick with it. I probably should have done it with the Browning, but we've got an MP40, which I'd prefer to have over the Browning. Now we've got one more hit after this one. Still no flamethrower. Unfortunately, it's going to be unlikely at the flamethrower at this stage. So I'm going to hit this box. It might be the flamethrower, might not be, but I've killed that zombie basically purely for the fact it's going to start the next round, and by the time I get into this spawn room, the zombies will have just started coming through. Now at this stage, I want to start thinking about actually doing a proper train and grouping up the zombies and then killing them. But at this stage, because they are still spawning in slow at the start, I'm just gonna try and pick off as many as I can without having to go into that train. I would be getting more points if I did train them, but points aren't my biggest concern at the moment. My biggest concern is just surviving and getting through these rounds. Also, I'd be conserving ammo, but I don't really need to worry about ammo conservation when I get insta-kills. I can just pull out the 91011 and just kill zombies with that. And I can conserve ammo with the MP40. Oh wow, okay. Missed a headshot a couple of times. Managed just to sneak that one zombie in with the last second of the insta-kill. sometimes it feels like you should kill the zombie quicker than we actually do. Just because you're used to the zombies not actually to dying quicker, because the zombies increase in health every round. That's one. I mean, that's kind of obvious. If you even if you don't have any experience in zombies, like you'd assume that the zombies increase in health as the rounds go by. But as I keep getting to do this, and as I keep mentioning, I believe for the first 10 rounds, the formula is basically first round 150 points of signing that, second round 250, and this keeps increasing by 100. But then after round 10, the formula changes, and it becomes slightly more complicated, and makes the health increase dramatically, sort of thing. Because it's just a lot of large numbers at that point. Now, the zombies are coming in a little bit too hot for me, so I am going to start grouping them up. Usually when I start grouping them up, I pull up the 1911, and I just do this. Just go through this motion. If I've got the flamethrower at this point, I normally start doing this around 6, but round 9, I don't mind starting to do this. Now this is the point where you have to think, are all zombies spawned in? And in this case, they actually weren't. There was one coming through the stairs there. But it didn't cause any sort of threat to me. And once again, I'm out of ammo after 2 rounds. This is why you want the flamethrower. The flamethrower doesn't run out of ammo, which is why it's the best gun to play for this map. And then secondly, sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's just because it doesn't run out of ammo. You can just sit there roasting zombies all day. I've got another MP40, which is nice. If I go to Thompson, I'm going to take that just because I can buy ammo afterwards. If I run out of ammo and I hit the box down at 600 points and I don't get another flamethrower. Well, I don't get a flamethrower in general. This is actually the longest in the past week I've played. I've gone without getting a flamethrower in the box. There's an MG. I'll take the MG purely because there's more ammo and it's going to last me for more rounds. Oh, Thompson, I'm taking that instead. I mean, I'm swapping my opinion, like what I want to get, constantly. I'm just going to knife the zombie to death, just because he's not going to pose any threat. He's not going to double swipe me or anything like that. And it just conserves ammo in the Thompson, makes it last a little bit longer. Seeing that's round 10, and I'm now grouping up the zombies. Hopefully the ammo will last a little bit longer. If not, I'm going to have to make a trip once every couple of rounds, maybe once every 1 to 2 rounds, to get more ammo from the wall. But other than that, I should be good to go. At this stage, I'm just wanting either the ray gun or flamethrower, preferably flamethrower. Ray gun, I can do a little bit of work with. Ray gun can last you to around 80 or so, which it expedites the process. But I just prefer having the flamethrower, because playing with flamethrower is different to playing with the ray gun. I'd rather just play with the weapon which I'm going to be playing with throughout the entire run. Now, my first sort of goal, and my sort of benchmark on whether or not a run was a good run or not, is round 30. Because round 30 is when the zombies start sort of spawning in as fast as they possibly can. I mean, I think it sort of caps out around 35, 40. But also, round 30 is just it's a nice number. On one hand, like as I said, zombies start spawning in as quickly as possible. But when you hit a nuke at the start of the round, I'm going to hit that. When you hit a nuke at the start of the round, you can, if you time it well enough, you can kill the entire round. And it just makes it nice, easy rounds at that point. But using previous experience and prior runs, Once you get from round 70 onwards, you start hitting a nukes. You start hitting a lethal drop. You start hitting them. It's sort of a 2 to 3 lethal drops per 10 rounds, and it's the same with passive drops. It's 2 to 3 passive drops per round. That's why you use the flamethrower. Those high rounds, because when you're thinking, damn, if I'm only getting 2 to 3 passive drops per round, then that's at max ammos per round. 2 to 3 passive drops per 10 rounds. That's a max of 3 max ammos per 10 rounds. And is my ray gun gonna last that long? Probably not. Now what I'm gonna do here, since those zombies are spawning through our window, I'm just gonna take a little bit of take my little time a little bit, and sort of just move out of the way, try to prolong myself going down here, so that the zombies can actually join the rest of the train safely, and I can run down there. Well, that didn't quite happen. That pass through. Ooh, okay, it's interesting. That didn't quite happen. That pass through. As you saw, one of the zombies just sort of hugged the right side of the columns. There's max ammo there, so I won't have to worry about ammo after this round. There's a nuke. That nuke's basically gonna go to waste. It's gonna kill maybe 3 or 4 zombies next round. So as I was saying before, you saw that zombie sort of hugging the right side of the column, and the reason you saw that was sort of because of the way I did run the train. And when I see that, I know it's safe to run through there because the zombie it might get a hit off me. It's probably gonna get 2 hits off me. It's not gonna trap me. But preferably you want no zombies going down there as you're running through there. And so I had another option of just doing a double back, where I just went back through that section and just sort of did a figure, not figure eight, but a double loop on the top side of this figure of 8. This train formation is a figure of 8, just purely because of the way it's being formed. I've got one zombie spawning in. I'm just going to widen myself a little bit, and he exited that nicely. That's what you want to see. Obviously, during the higher rounds, the zombie's going to spawn in a lot quicker. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to adjust your movement speed as you go along. Now there's another drop there. And it's max ammo. I won't have to worry about ammo after this round either. Okay. That nuke actually killed a lot more zombies than I realised. It probably killed, I want to say, 8 zombies. I didn't think I'd get that much value out of it. So, as I was saying, you want to start adjusting your movement speed at the start of each round. So I'm going to switch over to the cult here. And we've got one zombie coming through here. Now I'm going to do what I call the turtle walk. Now, by doing the turtle walk, it seems very slow and dangerous. That's because it is very slow. It's not dangerous, so you might get hit once if you move accidentally too slow. But what it does is in the higher rounds, when you got maybe a zombie or 2 coming through that window a little late, it allows you to move slow enough that the zombie just joins the train and doesn't actually go through this section at all, which is nice, and it gives you a clear runway. Now what I'm doing here is I'm sort of stuttering my train. By stuttering my train, I can make sure all the zombies join the train nicely, and I don't get anything clogging me up over here, potentially trap me against that help door or the box room door. And I do that purely because there's been way too many times I've just died to that. Now here I'm not really paying attention. I didn't really focus on trying to get headshots, but here I will, because just to get those quicker kills. It's up to you. You don't really have to aim for headshots. I think if you just want to, if you're gonna, okay, so we've got 2 lethal drops here. Just to finish up my last train of thought, if you're gonna kill these zombies with the gun that can get headshots, you may as well just go for headshots, just for the quick kill. It's got a damage multiplier attached to it. Now here I'm gonna hit the nuke first. I'm actually gonna hit the insta-kill first, then the nuke. Just because the insta-kill was going to run out first. Now I'm not sure how many kills I got from that nuke, But the end skill will hopefully carry me towards having a minimal amount of zombies this round. That's the problem with using the cult. If you miss a shot, you tend to have to spam. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get as many kills with the insta kills I'd like, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm just going to kill the zombies the old-fashioned way of just shooting them in the face, and that will just work the way it always has this game. I think a couple zombies left, and you sort of just want to be careful because this train does have a lot of walking backwards. There's no traps in this map or something like that, and so when you walk, it's got a lot of walking backwards. So you have to make sure you know the map well enough that you can do it. One thing I like to, so when I get through here, as I'm coming through here, I stop here, and then I leave because I know that's the window. Going to do a midway turtle walk because I went a little too fast at the start here. I know I'm going to be at the window, and I know how much space I've got roughly left behind me, so that second pillar is a guidepost. Now there's a zombie coming through that window, so I'm going to do a double circle here just to avoid it being being in the path of my train. And so you want to give yourself cues. Yeah, like little cue points, so you know when to move and how to move. It's like when you're swimming, you're first learning to swim, and when you first learn to swim, they teach when you're doing the backstroke. When you first learn how to backstroke, they teach you to count the beams on top of the ceiling. Well, this is where I went when I learned how to swim. They teach you to count the beams across the room, and once you get, and so that way you know to put your hands out at a certain time so you don't bump your head against the wall. I mean, I was a bit of a slow learner, and I'd forget, to be honest. I'd forget to put my hands out, and I'd bump my head. So you definitely don't want to. It's kind of like this, except in this it ends a run, which potentially lasted a few hours. I mean, that's how my round 130 run ended. I mean, it kind of ended that way. I got caught against the window, which is kind of awkward because that doesn't really happen on other maps. Oh, flamethrower first hit, that's nice. Actually makes it so I don't have to worry about hitting the box too much. I mean, it was nice of the game to give me some generosity and give me the flamethrower for the first hit. But it's a bit late, man. It's around 15. It's a bit late. Now the reason I'm keeping the Colt is because it gives you the best mobility and best movement speed in the game out of all guns. You get the fastest movement speed. Now you're probably thinking, well, why do you want the fastest movement speed when you're gonna be turtle walking? That's a good question. You don't need to take the Colt. That's just my personal preference. I consider myself a bit of an old school player. I'm stuck in my ways. And back when I was learning this map, this was the common strategy: having the Colt as for one weapon, and having the flamethrower as your secondary. But you can realistically have the Thompson as your secondary. I've seen some people have the flamethrowers. I mean, there's ray guns as secondary. I mean, you could potentially just run an MG as a secondary. It's just, do you want to be able to do you want to be able to book it when you get hit, or do you want to just, open yourself up to the potential of getting hit a second time, getting double swipes and going down? And to that I say, I want to book it, and there's a double points over there. Now, as you can imagine, once you hit the flamethrower, double points and max ammos are no longer relevant. They're the most useless drops in the game. And because of that, you only want lethal drops. But the problem with that is that lethal drops don't come as often as non-lethal drops. I tend to find, especially That's my personal. That's from my own experience. You might have the other way. You might have it the other way. You might find more lethal drops and non-lethal drops. I guess it depends on the run. And so when you, especially when you get to round 70 plus, 2 to 3 lethal drops per round, per 10 rounds. They're going to start taking a while. The rounds, they're going to take a couple of minutes per round, like upwards to 5 minutes, and then plus. And then when you spending a minute on the last zombie, you'll be like, how come every zombie died so much quicker than this zombie? And it's gonna be racking your brains. You're not gonna know why. I don't think anyone really knows why. I don't know why. I've been playing this map for, I don't know, 5 years. I still don't know why. And it's just, I don't even know what I'm trying to do. I've lost my train of thought so much going to that rant. But flamethrower, and about it's time to kill. As soon as I started going into the time, how quick. Oh, I was talking about the drops and how useless max ammo and double points are. So the whole point of that rant is that, like, oh my goodness, double points. The whole point of that rant is that it's just gonna take you a long time. And when you hear a drop, you get accustomed to hearing drops. Trust me, like as soon as the zombie dies, you're gonna hear that drop. You're gonna be tuned into it, and as soon as you hear it, you're like, if that's a non-lethal drop, I'm gonna be so mad because it's been 6 rounds since you get the last nuke or insta kill, and you're like, I just want this round to end instantly because there's only 24 zombies spawning per wave. I mean per round. So like you want the insta kill that nuke. It's been 6 rounds. You've been playing like that. 6 rounds took you 15 minutes complete, and you're just like, I just want a quick easy round, you know. I just want a quick easy round, and I just want to get it over with. But no, it's gonna be a max ammo. It's gonna be double points. And you're gonna be like, why did I ever need this in my life, right? And you're gonna learn to hate the double points. You're gonna learn to hate the max ammo past round 6 if you get a flamethrower on round 5. Generally, you will get a flamethrower on round 5. I just got very unlucky in this game. But with the way I've been playing, hitting around 30 will not be unusual. Would not be unusual. Also, I play a lot differently to like how people play this map now. Like I'll hit the box, I'll try and max out my points as much as possible. I'll try and get a flamethrower round 5, and I'll play with that flamethrower from round 5 to round whatever I die at. Most people now, they'll hit the Thompson. They got the Thompson. They'll use the Thompson to like round 20, or maybe they've got the ray gun. They use the ray guns for like round 40 or so. And then they'll hit stay in the box for the flamethrower. And look, you know, anyone. That's the beauty of this game. You can play it the way you want. You can use your strategies the way you want. But I'm just gonna tell you, my way's better. I was gonna tell you, I play my way because I believe it's better than everyone else's way. And yeah, get wrecked. I mean, do I have a world record? No. But I'm still going to say I prefer my way because I think it's better than everyone else's. I'm quite clearly being facetious and being sarcastic about my comments, but it's really what you feel comfortable with. And I feel most comfortable with a flamethrower by my side as early as possible. I mean, you've got the people who do those the first room only challenge. That is actually hard. It's a little bit different. It requires a little bit of different strategy than what this does. I mean, also your only real weapon of choice is between the carbine or the Kar 98. And obviously you're going to be using the carbine because the Kar 98 is a booty. Either on round 1's booty. Oh, got a nuke. It's not going to do a lot. It's going to do something. It won't do a lot. But yeah, that Car 98 is booty. You have to board up this window every round, which you don't do in this regular run. But when you're doing first room only, you got to board up the window every single round. And you are killing zombies at high rounds with just the carbine. Which, if I remember correctly, carbine does like 65 damage, 35 damage, something around like that. It's got 2.5 times multiplier. It might just be a 2 times multiplier on a headshot. So you have to, like, you can imagine how high these zombies' health start getting, like round 20 onwards. Like, when you think about that, and you think about the fact that like you have to use only the carbine when you do the first room only challenge, you're just like, God damn it, boy, this is gonna take forever. Like those runs like around 60, they take 8 hours. No joke, they take 8 hours. I get to round 60 in this game, it takes me 2 hours. Okay, and I do this regularly wrong. Some people they get so I think it's Dupree. Dupree has the speedrun world record to around 100 on this game. It took him like 2 hours. How? I'm not good. I'm not good at speedrun strats in this map. I really am not. But if you can get to around 100 with speedrun strats, right? If you get to around 100 with speedrun strats in like 2 hours, bro, all you need to do is get to round 63. Make to round 163. You get the insta kill rounds, right? You get the insta kill rounds. You use those insta kill, or you keep doing that speedrun strat. Who knows how high you can get? Who knows, right? You could be around 200 in a matter of 3 hours, maybe 4 hours at most, right? It takes me 4 hours to get to around 100. I don't know. I'm just really passionate. I love this game, man. I love this map. It's basically the only map I play. I mean, I've got Varux, I've got Shinonuma, I've got Doris on PC. I've got Black Ops, I've got Black Ops 2, I've got all the Black Ops 2 maps. I don't have Black Ops 3. I don't have Black Ops 3. I don't have any Call of Duty plus Black Ops 2 that has zombies besides World War 2. I played a little bit of World War 2. I'm not gonna lie, I played a little bit. Now I'm gonna do a bit of Strange Circle just to avoid having to deal with an awkward situation with a zombie. I played a little bit of World War 2. My best is like around 42 or something like that on the first. What's the map? What's the basic map of that called? It's called something. I can't remember what it's called. It's been that long since I've played World War 2 zombies. But not only that, I played a little bit of Grosvenor House. I remember the name for that because you can play it on effect. But I nearly got caught up there. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of scary. But you gotta remember when you do that. You gotta remember just to just keep moving, because if you stay still, you are essentially just giving yourself up to the zombies, and they are going to destroy you. But yeah, I think my best on Grosvenor House, just to turn back to that conversation, is like 20 something. This is the only map where I get like 70 plus. I think my best on Shinonuma, my best on Varux is 32. My best on Shinonuma is I want to say 56. My best on Doris is like 28. I want to say it's 28. And my best on what's the map called? Untoten is, what is it? It's 53. Best on, what's my best on 5? Like 20 something? I want to say 25 for 5. I don't know. Then I don't own any of Black Ops 1 DLC. Black Ops 2 best on transit is 40 something. It might just be straight 40. I could just list off all my PBs. Only issue I can't remember half of them. Black Ops 2 to semi-mass from Black Ops 2. Like, just trying to remember them all would be too much effort on my part. But Black Ops 2 was an amazing game. I love Black Ops 2 zombies. Like, I like Mob of the Dead, I like Buried, I like Transit, I like Town, I like all the transit maps. What was the China map? Die Rise? I mean, it was an okay map. I think my best was like 30 something. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as everyone else liked it. Was the third map Bomb of the Dead? I I think it was. Okay, that was awkward. But all in all, this is out of all the zombie maps there have been, and out of all the ones I've played, this is still my favorite. I don't know why. It's literally the most boring map. All you do is haul points into round 5, get the flamethrower round 5, and just run a train, the same train for the next X amount of rounds. It's literally the most boring map. It's not like Nacht, where the zombies just stick to walls or anything. It's like, or you got traps. It's not like Shinonuma, where you can get the what's the gun? The Wunderwaffel. You can get the Wunderwaffel, and you kill 10 zombies at a time. It's not like the race where you've got hellhounds. It's not like any of those maps. It's just plain old boring. No perks, just a flamethrower and a bunch of zombies. But I love it. I love it. But I don't know what if I do. So like, I actually don't have my overlay on. I don't know why. But my goal is to get onto the top 20. Okay, this is a really awkward round. Okay, whatever, bro. Whatever. But my goal is to get onto the top 20 list. And to do that, I need to get to around 227. I mean, I haven't checked it since last week, but I doubt it's changed at all. I mean, it still wouldn't have changed because 227 would still be the lowest score of the top 20 at the moment. But yeah, I need to get to around 227. I don't know if I say I got to 227, say I died at like 245, right? Just let's be conservative. Yeah. If I died on 245, I'm not sure if I'd continue playing this map just to try and get a top 10, maybe even trying to get like the best score. I don't know, or if I should just move on to Nacht, because so, this is console. It's PlayStation 3. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'd continue. Just purely because I'd continue playing this map purely because I want to beat that score. If I should change just to save my sanity, because I feel like if I kept playing this over and over again, trying to get to the best score, get to number 1, which is like 1,500, saying that, I feel like I drove myself insane. Did I actually update? Yeah, I did update my PB on here, on the stream. So yeah, my PB 130. But I've got this, thanks. But yeah, I'm not sure like what I'd do in that situation. Because once you get to it, like once you've spent 6 hours onto a single run, once you've spent 6 hours into a single run, and then you die, like I'm pretty chill about it. Like I don't get like once you've done it a few times, like once you've been to those high rounds a couple of times, like the edge sort of comes off. But let me look for the words I'm trying to find here. If I was to get to 245, like I'm just using that as the number because, actually no, let me use a number which would actually hurt. If I got to around 220, right? Okay, that was actually a misplay, but it didn't really matter too much because I got the nuke. So say I got to 225, right? 2 rounds off top 20, and I died. I'd be really frustrated. I'd be like, I was so close. I was literally 10 minutes within the grasp of top 20. I think I might be frustrated enough. Like I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be like, fucking hell, mate. When I kill myself, I wouldn't do anything about it. I don't think I would, at least. But I think it would frustrate me enough that I just didn't want to look at this map for a little bit. I just wouldn't want to like look at this map for a little bit, just because like it'd be too many like bad memories. But round 25, I'm actually surprised I'm being I'm doing this well mechanically, while just like usually usually I'm not like usually when I play I'm doing these high rounds I'm not speaking a lot. I'm not doing this much talking. But I'm surprised that I'm focused this much while I'm just keeping a commentary going. I'm doing well, at least at the moment. Before I jinx it, before I jinx it, I inevitably die. But if I get to 70, it'd be a nice stopping point because that'd be roughly 3 hours into the stream. Give me time to go to bed, wake up for work in the morning, all that sort of jazz. But it's also good for a title on the next night's stream, right? Because people generally they don't want to see they don't want to look click onto a stream and be like, oh, this guy's around 16. That's nothing impressive. But when they click onto a stream, it's like around 80. That's like, oh, it gets people to stay around. Like they want to see how well this person plays. They want to see them continue playing. But what I generally do is that at round 30, I take a little bit of a break, get some water. Just it's roughly an hour after I start streaming, so it's a nice like little break time. I could call it a little bit of an ad break. I might need to go to the toilet. Generally, I need to get a drink of water because I've been talking for an hour straight, and just like relax myself a little bit and just start from fresh. Generally takes like 5 minutes. So I'm hoping I'll be able to hit that around 30. Just get a little bit of a break. I would play on PC, but to be honest, like being 100% honest, I am trash on PC, like using keyboard and mouse. I could like hook up like an Xbox controller and play through that way. I think I have tried that before, and I don't think I liked it too much. But like, I'm just trash on keyboard and mouse when it comes to this game. The controller feels a lot more natural to me. I know, like the back of it's literally the back of my hand. I was talking about it with a friend recently, and I think we worked it out to be 13 or so buttons on the PlayStation, on a PlayStation controller. You got the 8 face buttons. So you got square, triangle, circle, X, up, down, left, right. So you got the 8 face buttons. So you got the 4 shoulder buttons, L1, R1, L2, R2. So that's 12 buttons right there. Then you got the 2 analog sticks. They push into a button. So that's 14, 15 buttons. And then if you want to go even further, you can count the home button, the start button, and the options button, which gives you 18. Gives you 18 buttons. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize actually how many buttons are on a controller. They're just awkwardly placed, so you can't make the most of them. Like the pure advantage a keyboard and mouse has over a controller is the fact that you can quite easily reach keys and do a lot of things at the same time, which you just can't do on a controller because you're limited to your thumbs and your index fingers. I mean, you could do a different grip. You could do a different grip. Back in the Halo competitive scene days, there was the claw, I believe it was called, and the way the claw worked was that you held. It's going to be awkward to explain, but you held the controller normally in one hand, so in your left hand normally, and then on the right hand, you had your index finger wrapped around, but 3 to 4 face buttons, and then your thumb on the stick. I believe that's how it works. And then your middle finger will be controlling the right side of the shoulder buttons. I believe the issue with that was that the players would be like suffering from, I don't want to say arthritis, but like arthritic like symptoms because of like the unnatural way they're holding their hands. There's also another way to hold your controller for fighting games, where where you use your index finger and your middle finger to press the top two and the bottom two face buttons, well, as you would with a fight stick, right? Like you go to the arcade, go on the arcade stick, use your index and your middle finger to do that. Similar for controller, it works rather well, I guess. I mean, you're gonna be hitting your buttons a lot more precise than what it would be if you're just using a thumb. So it's like you've got options on how you hold the controller, but it's just not going to compare to a PC, to a keyboard, I should say. Now I'm just going to turtle walk it, and I'm just going to hope that no zombies are spawning through that window as I come through here. Okay, this is awkward. Oh my goodness, that was awkward. The one thing you have to not pay attention. One thing you have to do is be able to react quick, and just not let things like that sort of jitter you too much. Like, I think sometimes there's people, especially inexperienced players, where what would end up happening is that when that happens, they sort of just freeze up and they don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this may be just me just thinking this is how I've always been, but like my reaction's always just been to book it. But I could be wrong. I may misremember. I've been playing zombies for 8 years in total, so I could be obviously misremembering, but I feel like there are a lot of like inexperienced players who, when they get to a situation where they're sort of caught up on some zombies, something that they sort of just slam the brakes and they're like, what do now? When the best option is just to keep moving forward. Find yourself an exit. Always know your exit routes, right? Always pay attention. It's kind of like driving. I mean, it's kind of like driving in a sense where you should know your surroundings. And nothing else about that analogy or about that comparison actually relates to one another besides knowing your surroundings. Now, actually getting to round 30, I didn't think I'd be. I feel like I generally play better after taking a little bit of a break from the game. Like, it's like anything, I guess, where if you spend too much time on it, you end up getting to a stage where you start performing a little bit worse. Like, let me correct myself with that, because I feel like that's a little bit of an unfair statement. I'm gonna actually just quickly end this round. I'm going to end off what I'm going to say. Then I'm going to get like some water. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that I feel like if I played this game for like a week straight, like every night for a week, I feel like by the end of that week, I wouldn't be getting any better than I would be at the start of the week, right? Because let's say throughout that week, let's actually take last week for example. The first night I streamed and I played, which was last Monday. I basically, it was like my first time in months playing the game. I died a couple of times, got to around 30 I think as my max score my max round that night, and I didn't really do too well. That's obvious. There's a little bit of rust for it there, right? The next night got to around 70, first try. Who would have guessed, right? Actually, no, that's incorrect. No, it is correct, sorry. Next night gets around 70, first try. Who would have guessed? Next night gets around 130, and die. No big deal. The night after that, because I've had that previous success against around 30, I've been like, oh damn. If I don't get to at least 30 before dying, I'm gonna be really I'm just gonna get frustrated. It's not me thinking this beforehand, but it's more of an immediate reaction because I expect better of myself. And so I feel like by the end of that week, after having this sort of build up of like what I expect from myself, if I don't perform that way, I'm gonna get more frustrated. So that's why I feel like having a little bit of a break, like maybe 1 to 2 days break in between playing, after having that sort of streak, I end up coming back playing better because I've had that break. I've had time to reevaluate. I've had that time to just sort of be like, look, I like going down around 5 is just the same as going down around 45. You're still going down. It's just one's a higher round than the other. But on saying that, I'm going to take a little get some water, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back. And because I've remembered, I've put up my I call it my overlay. It's not really much of an overlay. It's just some it's just some text files. Just saying, just giving people an idea. Because like sometimes like when people come in, they're like, "Yeah, mate, what's your best round?" And like instead of just constantly just like repeating that, it's just easier to have it displayed on stream. But going into round 30, I'm hoping round 70 will be pretty. Like, I'm hoping I'll be able to hit round 70 without too much issue. If I do go down close to round 70, I might just end the stream there. Not because not because it's frustration or anything like that, but because given the time I've got before I need to like head off for the night, like there's no point in me trying to start up a new run to get to a point where I'll be happy with just like leaving it there for the night. Like say I only started the run now. So it's 8 p.m. for me. If I only started the run now, and it'd be 9 p.m. before I got to round 30, so I got down 15 minutes later, I'd probably be like heading I generally would be heading off at 10 p.m. at the latest. So in saying that, there would be no point in me trying to start a new run when I've only got 45 minutes in trying to do that. Purely because I just don't have the time. The time constraint. I just won't have enough time to do it. But that's something I'll have to face when I get there. Is whether or not I'll die. Oh, is that IXRexZ? Thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, if you enjoy, like, just stick around, chill around, do whatever, have fun. Thank you for the follow though. That's actually really solid. Just gonna stagger my run a little bit there. Not my run, my train a little bit there, just so I don't get squished up against the wall. And that's the realistic issue you've got when you don't turtle walk like you're supposed to. also, oh my goodness, this is why I need to stop using this controller. So there, I made a bit of a blunder. Not gonna lie, made a little bit of a blunder. Zombies start. I stopped at an awkward spot. I staggered my train at an awkward spot. I stayed there a little too long, so the train split in half. And because the train split in half, I could have easily been smushed in the middle and gone down. And to top that off, because I'm using a controller that I've been using for the past 8 years, the left analog stick is very worn down, and it's basically like the actual stick portion of the analog stick is basically sawn in half due to the amount of wear and tear. And so I went to sprint, and it just was not sprinting. I was like, oh no, it's not going to end this way, is it? But fortunately enough, the gods looked down upon me and said, not today. Not today. Well, at least not round 31. I was a little scared. Okay, round 32. It should roughly take me an hour to get to 70. And here's the thing, I generally start getting pretty tired around 9 PM. Just because I wake up at 5:30 in the morning for work. And I'm working from 5:30 till 5 PM sort of thing. And so I tend to get tired earlier than most people would be. So if I continue past round 70, then it might just be through around 80. I mean, ideally, realistically, I would like to play till around 100. Just to be like, oh yeah, a nice starting point for the next day. But if I get to around 70, it might just be, I feel like that's just the best point for me to stop, where I'm not too tired, where I'm just going to start falling asleep, and I make a mistake which ends up getting me down, and I've just, my past 2 hours have just been spent on nothing, basically. I'd prefer just to play it safe. But, something I didn't mention is generally once I'm set up, I like to see how long it takes me to hit 100,000 points. It's nothing it's nothing special or anything like that, but it's just I like seeing the point. I like seeing the points go up. And I was interested to see how long it would take me to get to 100,000 points, considering it wasn't until round 15 that I got the flamethrower. And I was actually quite surprised to see that. I don't know why I hit max ammo. I just literally no point hit max ammo. I was actually quite surprised to see that I hit 100,000 points at roughly round 30, which is actually kind of interesting, because sometimes you just don't hit, even when you get the perfect case of getting the flamethrower at round 5 on the first hit. So there's times where I just don't even get close to hitting 100,000 points at round 30. But that also has to do a lot with how good drops are looking throughout the rounds. Like, the run where I got to around 130 last week, that was just, it was an insane seed. I'm not gonna lie, that was the most insane seed I've ever experienced. Just like insta-kill nukes every other round. It was just insane. That's, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna see, but I can just replicate that again. Which is why I'm actually kind of sad to see that seed go. But I like seeing different seeds. I like just something like that. It was just insane. It was just absolutely insane. Something I haven't mentioned is the way. So, the flamethrower, if you look at the bottom right, you'd be able to see that it's got what's the word I'm looking for? It's got a little diagram, I guess, indicator of like the gun overheating, and when you overheat the gun, or the flame, I mean, realistically, a flamethrower is basically a gun. Like a gun shoots bullets, a flamethrower shoots fire. They're basically the same thing, using my horrible logic there. But when you overheat the flamethrower, it actually takes twice as long for it to cool down than what it does just to overheat. It actually gets to overheat. So the way to combat this is to shoot in small bursts like this, and you generally just won't overheat unless you just do it too much. Okay, so it seems like a lot of zombies are going to be spawning through the back half of the map this round. And generally you get that sort of, like, when the zombies spawn, like when you see the first couple zombies spawn in, you sort of get that vibe. And you sort of learn to adjust your playstyle to it. I mean, realistically, you don't have to change anything. But it's nice to pay attention to that, because it can influence how you end up moving throughout the round, throughout building a trend at least. Now I've got a drop, and it's a nuke. Oh, it's an insta-kill. Okay. Okay, so nice and easy round 34. Moving to round 35, halfway until my golf tonight, which is around 70, which is nice. Now, the real struggle is actually just trying to get some zombies to die to this insta-kill. Unfortunately, I didn't react quick enough, and I only got one kill. I mean, it's a bit of a... It's me not reacting quick enough, and just the fact that the zombies just didn't... Like, there weren't zombies spawning in for me to actually... Well, at least not zombies spawning in this part of the map for me to actually get the insta-kill off on. One thing, like, I liked... Like, it always seems like around 35 I realise this. But it's not. It just seems so interesting seeing how quickly the zombies start spawning in, and how like quickly that progression happened. Like in the course of the hour, the zombies went from like you could round up like all the zombies, like you could think that you rounded up all the zombies, and you'd think that they're all there, and then suddenly you've got 2 or 3 zombies just coming out of nowhere, it seems, to Oh yeah, you can do the initial trade setup for about for 2 to 3 uh, cycles, and you guaranteed got all of them in your bar in your train. Seeing that I've got only a couple of zombies left, unless I call this double laning. I don't know. I make up a lot of terminology and make up a lot of terminology and names, like things like training. That's like the community given term, but double laning, which I was just doing, and turtle walking. Those are just my own names. I feel like it just makes it like an easy way to explain to people what it is. So it's just in the name. As you can see here, it's going to be a lot more of this room heavy spawn for zombies. So I'm actually going to be able to get use out of this insta kill. And look at this massacre. Accidentally overheated my gun. But it didn't really matter too much because I was basically finishing around. That's what I love about these round 30 onwards. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about insta kills. That's what I love about nukes when you get to these rounds. Now, actually, just to diverge a little bit from the game, I've been watching a show recently, and it's an old show. It's a TLC show, so you know it's gonna be great. From I want to say it's like 10 years ago, maybe even more recent. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but it's Extreme Cheapskates, and I have to say I'm in love with this show, just because like I love the if TLC has this what's the reputation to have shows which are somewhat scripted or somewhat fake, and I totally admit that. But what I love about this show, Extreme Cheapskates, is that the ingenuity of these people just to save a couple of dollars. Like some of these people, like I'm saving $10 a year from not buying chewing gum. It's like, surely you could just spend that $10 a year on gum, right? Like you could easily spend that $10 a year just buying gum. Like you don't. This one woman, what she does, she buys a pack of gum, and she'll chew it, and she'll chew that same piece of gum for 3 days. So she up the piece of gum on Monday. So she keeps it in the freezer to retain the flavour, and so then she chews that same piece all the way until Wednesday. And on Wednesday, she treats herself, and gives herself a fresh piece. And it's just it's kind of gross, I guess, but that's not the reason I think it's weird. The thing I thought was weird is that she then said, by doing this, she didn't say I saved $10 a year. She says I only spend $10 a year on gum. I guess it's somewhat different to how I was explaining it. But there are people who legitimately say I save 10 cents a month off my electricity bill by doing X, and it's just it's 10 cents. You're literally you're going through this extra length to save 10 cents a month. Wouldn't it just be easier to spend that 10 cents a month? And I understand 10 cents a month over 12 months is $1.20. Over 10 years, that's $12.20. You make more in an hour than you would saving that much money over the course of 10 years, right? Saving 10 cents a month over the course of 10 years, you make that money in an hour, just working 1 hour on a job. Okay, I'm kind of stuck here. Okay, no, I fixed it. So it just kind of baffles me how these people just go to these extreme lengths just to save a little bit of money. I mean, it's their life. It's their lifestyle. They clearly enjoy their lifestyle. It's just not for me. It's just not for me, bro. Like, I spend upwards to $100 like every couple of days. Like, I'm a collector. Like, that's what I do. That's one of my hobbies. I'm gonna spend money on my hobbies, and that's why like I'll have a day where I spend nothing. Like, I didn't buy anything today, and then I'll have a day, like I suspect, like yesterday, where I spent $110, and then I'll go another day without spending anything, and then sometimes it'll be 3 days in a row where I spend like $100 each day, because there's a couple of items I need to buy for my collection, and it's a horrible way to spend your money. I will admit that, but I like it. And that's my lifestyle. That's why I don't really. That's why I respect these people who are extreme cheapskates, because I could never do it. I like spending money too much. I like it. It's not like it's not that I like spending money. It's like I like enjoying the items I get with my money. Like, this one woman, instead of spending money on toilet paper, she would cut up old t-shirts and make, I guess you could say, reusable toilet paper. And in one hand, she'd be like, oh yeah, that's eco-friendly. But on the other hand, it's like, toilet paper is 68 cents per roll. Like, I looked this up. It's 68 cents per roll. And so she's saving, like, now this one I actually kind of understand, right? Because, say, like, around here, you get a max of like 8 rolls per packet of toilet paper. So if each roll is 68 cents, that would just round up to 70 cents just to make it easier. And it's 8 rolls. You've now suddenly got, like, oh my goodness, I'm so bad at math right now. I could work it out in my head, but I feel like I'm going to take too long to work it out. I'm going to say it's like $7, right? For 8 rolls of toilet paper. Maybe even $6. Like, I can understand that for like a family of 4, that adds up pretty quickly. Me myself, I kind of pride myself. I mean, pride's a bad word, but I like the fact that like I only go through like maybe 1 roll every 1 to 2 weeks. So like a pack of 8 rolls would last me a couple of months. And so when you I can understand from one perspective not wanting to spend the 68 cents per roll when you got a family of 4 or 5 and you're an extreme cheapskate. And like, yeah, you're using it. You're finding an innovative way to save money. But at the same time, is the comfort of just having toilet paper just not enough? To spend that 68 cents. I mean, I don't know. As I said before, I couldn't do it. I just don't have the discipline to do it. I mean, I spent 2 years just not spending any money at all. And those 2 years were kind of, I wouldn't say they were rough, but like they weren't as pleasant as what like, it's not because I didn't have money. It's just like I just didn't spend any money. But now I went from one extreme to the other. I went from the extreme of just never spending money on anything to spending money all the time. And I think there's a happy medium in there somewhere. I just haven't reached it. I mean, there's a point where I would only buy like 2 items a month. But like now I've broadened my collection a little bit. Like, I'm spending that money a lot more frequently because it's a lot more items appearing more frequently that I need. And I sort of justify in my head as, well, once I get like all the easy to obtain items, the rarer items aren't going to appear that as often. So I'll only be buying like maybe 1 or 2 items a week, and then eventually 1 or 2 items a month. And when you use that logic, it's very easy to get yourself in the whole loop of, well, once I get to like I feel like it becomes a habit of just spending money, right? Like it becomes a habit of you spend, say you spend $100 a week on your on frivolous activities. So like maybe you go out drinking and you spend $100 drinking like that one night. Say you're going out with friends on a Friday night. Maybe like well, actually one thing I did for a little while is go to the casino every week. And I'd take $100 from me to the casino, and that's I wouldn't spend any more, and I would leave with what I had at the end of the night. Sometimes I'd walk out with $200, sometimes I'd walk out with no dollars, right? So I feel like now where was I going with this point? I started talking about casino. I actually love the casino. So yeah, say you got this you got this frivolous activity. You got $100 a week on this frivolous activity. After a little while, it becomes a habit, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go cold turkey. I'm not going to go to the casino for like 2 months or whatever, however long. That's hard. Like it does become a habit. It's like, I mean, with a casino, I guess it's easier with a casino because you actually have to physically go to the location, unless you go to do an online casino thing. I have tried online casinos. I don't like them because I basically feel like I got scammed a little bit. But you know, as an experience. But with the casino, it's a little bit better because you actually have to drive to the location. When it comes to like buying stuff on eBay, you just sit in your room, you sit in your bed, you get your phone out. You don't even need a computer. Just get your phone out, find some items you like, and start spending, right? And then it becomes a habit. And so once you get to the point where you're only buying 1 to 2 items a month, you're like, well, I better expand this collection even further, because I like receiving items, right? And then that's the slippery slope. And you never actually end up saving money. You just keep finding an excuse to spend more money, right? Now let me tell you some casino stories, right? So, I used to play poker a little bit. We did like three poker sessions at a friend's place, just Monopoly money, you know, whatever. And I was like to one of my friends, I'm like, hey, this is a different friend from a different group. I want to go to the casino and play some poker at the casino, see how I fare, because I like playing poker. And so we went to the casino, and it turns out the poker tables didn't open for like another hour and a half. We're like, well, what are we going to do for the next hour and a half? And we started playing blackjack. Now I thought, yeah, blackjack's it's a game of luck. Doesn't really have any skill behind it. You just have to say hit it or leave it. It's nothing to it, mate. That's until I started playing blackjack. Anyway, so we start playing blackjack. An hour and a half goes by. I'm on $70. My friend's like on is on like $60. And we're like, do we actually want to go play poker? Like, no, let's just continue playing blackjack. And the next week, we decided to go again. Like, hey, we want to go to casino again this week. Yeah, why not? So go to casino again next week. And we were like, that was real fun. Do you want to go again the next week? So we go again the next week. Right. And at this stage, I'm looking up strategies. I'm looking up like, I'm practicing on an app on my phone. I'm getting real into blackjack. And I'm like, oh, I love me some blackjack. And it's not and like, I want to say it's not because I like the idea, I like the thrill of spending of like risking the money for like winning and getting a payout. Like, I tend to say to people, I liked it for the atmosphere and I liked it for the people. Now let's be honest, I also liked it for the money. For the potential of getting money. But I played a very conservative style. But I was looking up betting systems, I was looking up basic strategy. Like, I was getting really into it. And I was getting to know the locals, right? So like, by the third week, we went on the Friday, and we came out. I think I came out like, I went in with $100, came out with like $150. My friend came out with like more money. Like, he ended up going positive. So we were next day. We're like, he's like, we could go to the casino again the next day. When one of our friends who decides to go, like, yeah, it's a good idea. Like, he hasn't been in a casino with us. I think he would enjoy it, and it'd be something to do for all three of us to do. And it's the next day we're sort of talking. He says he'll go, and they're like, hey, what time you want to go? What time you going to go? He doesn't end up replying. And we originally said we weren't going to go unless he goes. And then my friend's like, do you want to just go to the casino? I'm like, yeah, boy, let's go to the casino. At this stage, I'm like, oh, I'm hooked, boy. I'm hooked to the casino, right? At this stage, I'm like, I'm hooked. I love the casino. Like, the casino life is me. And I'm starting to recognize the locals. Now, where a casino is in my city, it's in the same suburb as where the majority of the Asian population lives. Now, you can say how you like in terms of why that is, why there seems to be an increased amount of Asian people living in this area. Some say it's because the university is also in that area. I tend to believe it's the casino, right? Now here's why. In the job we deal with a lot of clients, and sometimes we have to drive clients and their pets. Like we tend to take care of pets, and we tend to transport people's pets. But this one, like, sometimes we have to transport the client with the pet. So this one time, my boss was driving. This is like a little bit before I started working. I started working for where I work for now. My boss was driving this Asian man. She said he was from China, and they were talking. And she's like, oh yeah, where are you moving to? Because he was new to the state, and he's like, oh, I'm moving to Sandy Bay, and she's like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I heard there's a lot of Asian people who live in Sandy Bay, and she's like, yeah, I wonder why that is, and he's like, it's because of the casino. We Asians love the casino, and they sort of both started laughing. And I told this to a friend I met at a convention a few years ago. He's Vietnamese. And he's like, yeah, no, that's pretty true. We do like to gamble. And I was like, oh yeah, is this just some sort of inside joke that Asians like to gamble? Like, is this just one of those, like, stereotypical Asian jokes? Until I started actually going to the casino myself, and I saw that a lot of his patrons were Asian. And like, I would be playing on tables, and I'd be the only person who spoke English on that table besides the dealer. And so the dealer and the players would be just speaking Chinese. And I'd just be sitting there, little white boy me, just not understanding a word. And then, like, the dealer would always have to apologize, be like, oh, sorry, they just don't speak English. Like, no, it's so cool. But it got to the point where, somehow or not, I ended up forming a bond with his Chinese patrons, or his Asian patrons. There was one man. I like to call him Double Man. Like, I like to call him Double because with his limited English, he would call out what he wanted to do, and one of those would be doubling. So the way doubling works in blackjack depends which casino you play at, depends where you live, all that sort of stuff. Where I played it, when you doubled on any two cards, but you only got one card. And so, say you double on it, like, ideally you double on a 10 or an 11, depending on what dealer has face up. And you end up getting one card, and you want to get as close to 21 as possible. Now, whenever this man, this older man, this older gentleman, would want to double, his eyes would light up, and he not shout, but he sort of exclaim, "Double!" And even when he wanted to split, even when he had two aces and he wanted to split, or he got two eights and he wanted to split, he'd say, "Double!" Two sevens, double! And then would have to say, do you want to double or do you want to split? And he'd hand gesture splitting, but he'd say double. And like, everyone, like, we all sort of knew him because this is what he did. Even the Chinese patrons, they would do this. We all sort of chuckled. And he would sort of look my direction, and he'd smile. He'd sort of gesture like, it's go time, and I'm like, yeah, mate, it's go time, and like it's stories like that I miss. Like, I went to the casino a total of went to the casino a total of maybe 8 times over the course of 2 months, and as much as I did enjoy playing blackjack. As much as I did enjoy trying to double my money, I also did enjoy the people, right? I enjoyed the people who were frustrating to play with, who would split tens, and who wouldn't play optimally, and I enjoyed playing to people who I couldn't even speak the same language with, but we all had a great time. I remember, like, it was just okay. This is actually really interesting. I'm just going to do double circle here, double back. I just enjoyed the atmosphere. And to tie this all into what I was saying before about a habit, just the straw that broke the camel's back of us not going to the casino anymore was my friend he was in the hole. I'm not sure if he wasn't as lucky as me, because like we use, like at my casino we use automatic card shufflers. Or continuous card shufflers, I should say. So like you can't really count the cards. But like he I think he went positive. I think he went back winning twice out of the 8 times we went. He ended up being negative $465. I ended up being negative $125 by the end of it. I generally did okay for myself. Most of the time left with more money than I came in with. Sometimes, like a couple times I did bust. You know, it happens. It happens, right? The casino always wins, as I say. But like he said, you know, I might just not spend, like, just gamble the next 3 weeks. I'll still come with you. I just won't, like, bring any money because, like, I've just lost a little bit too much for me. I said, you know what, man? I don't want to go unless you want to go. Like, I don't want to force you to come to the casino with me. If you're not gonna gamble and have a good time, and if you're gonna just stand, if you're gonna feel like you can't do anything because you don't want to spend the money. So instead of that happening, I'm just not gonna go either. And so we stopped, and it's been about 2 to 3 months, and sometimes we occasionally talk about it. Like I think he talks about it with the same fondness as I do. It's just a bit of a shame that he just didn't have the same luck as I did. Because I think, like, if he had the same sort of luck I did, we'd both still be playing. We'd both still be going to the casino every 1 or 2 times a week. And like, it became a habit. Like, I'll drive past the casino. I'm like, yeah, boy, casino night coming up, and like, I'd look forward to it. Cause like, I don't really go out a lot. You know, I don't go out a lot. Like, so I looked forward to going out to the casino, enjoying that atmosphere. And like you'd recognize the players, you'd recognize the dealers, and they'd recognize you, right? And so like I don't know. I feel like casinos get this real bad rap of, oh, they're only in for your money. They make it all appealing so they can just rob more money out of you. For me personally, I feel like, I mean, it depends what you're doing, right? If you're just going to the slot machines, and you're constantly just at the slot machines, you're spending all your money on slot machines, then maybe there is a problem. Maybe you do have a problem with gambling, and maybe you should just stop gambling, because like we all sort of know slot machines are bad. But when it comes to blackjack, it's more of a situation where you're with other people, you're playing with other people, and you can have a little bit of dialogue with other people. Like, there was one night we were there. It was a bit of an unusual table, a bit of an unusual lineup. I think it was a Saturday. That's maybe why, or Sunday. It might have even been a Sunday. I think I went on Sunday once, where it just wasn't the play. Like, it wasn't the usual patrons. But there were some pretty talkative people, right? There's this one gentleman, he's probably around my age, who he knew basic strategy, the young woman next to him knew basic strategy. I knew basic strategy, my friend knew basic strategy, but the rest of the table did not know basic strategy. So you've got maybe 2 to 3 slots left. And we'd see this one guy, you know, he's your typical Australian young, mid-20s guy. He's out for a party, mate. Doesn't care if he loses $30 on a hand, because he's just out for the party, mate. And he'd see 2 10s. 20, that's a pretty strong hand. Like, if you get 2 10s, it's a pretty strong hand. It can only get better if you can pull out aces, right? And every time you got 2 10s, he'd split them. And this drove us kind of crazy. He'd always split them. And it got to the point where the young gentleman next to my friend and I got 2 10s. Like every time this guy would split 10s, we'd all sort of just look at each other and be like, oh no, he's going to split them again. But this young gentleman next to us, who knew basic strategy, he was like, oh gosh, should I split the 10s? And like sort of making a big like sort of joke, and I'm like, guys, I don't know, should I split the 10s, mate? And I was like, nah, mate, you never split 10s. Never split 10s. Like, it was kind of mean-spirited. I will admit that now. It was kind of mean-spirited of us to sort of make fun of his man, who came out looking for a good time, who wasn't making the optimal plays, and we'll sort of give him a bit of tongue-in-cheek for it, because we're losing money because of it, right? Now, statistically speaking, it doesn't matter what another player does. Statistically speaking, you like any statistics book on blackjack will say it does not matter what the person previous to you does in relation to your hand, in relation to the dealer. I don't understand, like, statistically, but that's not the actual case, right? Because say you're playing for a normal shoe, that shoe is in a specific order. Now, if you play optimally by playing that specific order, by having the shoe in a specific order, that means that one player can make a less optimal move. Say they hit 16 against a 5, right? You generally don't hit 16 against a 5. They hit 16 against a 5, they get a 5. Like, you then got a blackjack, right? But the next person has, say they have 15. And, no, say the person next to them has, what's the number we want to hit? So they have 7. I need to look for a number which is actually you'd hit against a 5. Actually, no, you would hit 15 against a 5, I think. Would you? Yes. Yeah. Do you? I actually need to look it up. I can't remember now. Say they have a 15. They go to... I'm gonna make it 12. I'm just gonna make it 12. Make it easier. They have 12. They got to hit, and because the previous player took the 5, they end up getting a 10, and now they've busted when they would have previously had a decent shot at being the dealer. That explanation took way too long to give, because I just got stuck on one idea. But in saying so, to get to the main point of this, even though statistics say what one player does, it doesn't actually statistically affect the next player. In reality, it does to an extent. And so when one player splits 10s, it's sort of like the rest of, like, you can count back to all the hands and cards that were played, and you could, like, sometimes you could be like, yeah, it realistically had no effect on the outcome of what ended up happening to everyone. And yeah, but there's cases like that. And then other cases, it's more like, wow, if that one person didn't hit, or split, or whatever, then this person would have been the dealer. This person would have been the dealer. This person wouldn't have been the dealer. And neither would this person. But now they've all lost, because this one person split the 10s. Or this one person hit on a 17 or whatever, right? And I guess there's different strategies, right? So basic strategy is obviously the strategy that most people would play with because of like the movie 21. It's the most well known strategy, basic strategy. You can look it up. You can look it up, and you can find what basic strategy is pretty easily. And you can find a checklist for it, and all that sort of stuff. But another strategy is never bust. Now, never bust is, as it sounds, you never bust. Now, when I first played, I kind of did a never bust strategy without knowing any strategies, if that makes sense. When I first started playing, my strategy was basically, if it's 15 or higher, you just don't hit it, right? And it's purely based on how many cards, like just looking at like what cards are in the deck, how many cards could bust me compared to how many cards don't bust me. And if there was more cards that don't bust me than that do bust me, then I'll hit. And vice versa. Never bust is you never hit on a hand where you can bust. So basically 12 onwards you don't hit. You never hit a 12. You never hit a 13. You never hit a 14. You never hit a 15. You never hit a 16. Right? And so the idea is that you never bust. It's not the most optimal way of playing. It's just an easy rule to go by. Because being honest about it, basic strategy is a little bit of a it's a little hard to remember at first. It takes a little bit of practice. Like you have to think of a little bit of you have to think of ways to make it stick in your head. But in the long run, basic strategy is pretty simple. I just need to look at a cheat sheet, and I'd be able to remember it pretty easily. But I believe it is if you've got a hand of if you've got say 12 against a 2, you hit. 12 against a 3, you hit. 12 against anything else, you stand. If you've got 15 against an 8, you hit, I believe. But if it's 15 against a 3, you don't hit. And you just have to remember that. There's a few rules you have to remember, but realistically, basic strategy isn't that hard to remember. But I can understand for someone who may not have very great memory, or they just can't devote the time to remember basic strategy and practice it. I can understand how never bust appeals to you, but I just feel like it's just it's just a bad way to play. Now there's a person on YouTube, I can't remember who they are, but they did a video where they compared basic strategy to never bust, where they got two shoes and they made every card the same as. So they made the shoes identical to one another, and they dealt the same hands. So over one shoe, they dealt the same hand. They dealt the same hand variations to each strategy, and to see which strategy came out top. Now, it's not exactly enough statistical data to prove whether one is better than the other, but I'd urge you to look at it if you're interested in the idea, interested in seeing which one is a better strategy, purely because it is interesting. I never heard of never bust until I was really looking into blackjack. And I was heavily looking into blackjack, but I think if you're gonna go to a casino and just have fun, you do it maybe once a year for someone's birthday, or you just want to do it. Look, you can just if you want to go up your best odds, remember at least a little bit of basic strategy. If not, no bust is okay. Never bust is okay. But if you plan to make going to the casino a regular routine, please learn basic strategy. It reduces the edge that the casino has against you to a 0.05% chance. But over the long course of over the Oh my goodness, is this something that's not gonna die? But over the course of the entire night, the casino's more likely to win. It just it's just how the casino works. Like they're always gonna win over a long period of time. I was actually hoping I got in there quick. I got in there late enough in the instead of started around where I'd kill all the zombies, but obviously not. So going back to talking about blackjack, if you were to go to a casino, and you step on the table, this is actually a weird way of me doing a circle or whatever. If you step on the table, in the first half an hour, you went from $100 to $200. You take that $200 and you just step up the table, cash it in, and just step away. Because if you keep playing over the course of over another hour, 2 hours, the casino is gonna win over you, right? They may not win immediately, but they will win over you. Your money will just slowly go away. Your chips will slowly go down. And the reason I say this is because there's been many times where I could have walked out of the casino with $230 and I only walked out for $125, or I didn't walk out of anything at all because I thought I just want to keep playing for a little longer. I want to play the game. Now, obviously, if you're only going in just to play the game and enjoy yourself, don't worry about the money, right? But if you want to try and get money, if you want to make a little bit of money, try actually making the money quickly and just getting out of it, because that's going to be your best bet. Another thing to remember with blackjack is to have a betting system. So you can flat bet, and flat betting is basically say the table minimum's $10. You just bet $10 no matter what the situation is. And when I say no matter what the situation is, I mean, like if you're a card counter, right, and say the counter's real high, it's like positive, it's like +4 or something, that it's a high count. You're like, damn, it's a high count, but you still only bet the table minimum. That's what flat betting is. You're not going to really make a lot of money out of that. That's why people think. Let me phrase this correctly. A lot of people think you're going to be instantly kicked out of the casino for card counting, purely because card counters generally max out the table amount, the table max, when the counter's high. Quite clearly, just to maximize the profits. And like casinos do frown upon card counters, but even if you don't count cards, I still think it's in your best interest to use some sort of betting strategy or betting system. I can't remember what's actually the actual name of it is, but it's basically a double down, double negative strategy, where say your table minimum is 10. I'm just going to use 10 because that's where it is where I live. You win, so you increase. So you stay at $10, right? And then you win the next hand, you still stay at $10. So now you've run $20 total. Say you lose the next hand. Well, I've just lost $10. This double negative strategy, whatever it's called. It's like the martingale double negative strategy. You can look it up. It's pretty common. A lot of people use it. Basically, it's when you lose, you double what you had previously. So you lost $10. You bet 20, and so if you win at 20, you basically start at zero again. And you just keep betting the minimum. You never go above the minimum, unless you lose. The problem with that strategy is that you're going to lose money in the long run. And just quickly, just to answer this question, is this COD old? Yes, this is Call of Duty World at War, also known as COD 5. Um, so yeah, this was released 2008, so it's a 10-year-old Call of Duty game. This is a very original zombie map. Also, thank you for the follow. I just realised you followed me as well. I'm just gonna try and pronounce your username, Yabo Pato. Okay, your boy Pato. Okay, your boy Pato. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, this is Call of Duty World at War 2008 on the PlayStation 3 original zombies map. Now to go back to the bank strategies of blackjack. Okay, I accidentally hit the stairs. So I'm just gonna take a look. This is actually good. Something good to mention. If you hit the stairs, don't panic. Just go up the stairs, come down here. Because an old school strategy for a lot of people was just come down here and just kill the zombies off in here. And just go around and just keep killing them. Or do what I'm going to do now and just go back to the spawn room. I am not on Xbox, I am on PlayStation 3. So going back to bank strategies, the bank system I used when I played blackjack was a progressive bank strategy. That's what people called it. That's how it was described to me. Basically, this is how I did it. Table minimum is $10, right? I win bet $10. I win, so I get $20. I then bet $10 again. Say I win that one. My rule was 2 wins, then I increase the bet amounts, right? So, however much you increase the bet amount is up to you. You can increase it by $5 in a $5 increment, or you can increase it by $10. I personally increased it by $10, just because I was a little bit greedy like that. And during all my practice, when I used to practice blackjack throughout the week, I found that betting $10 ended up getting you would end up netting you more money in the long run. And so, say I win the third hand. So after winning the second hand, I now bet $20. So I win that one. I've now got $40. Then I bet another $10. So I bet $30. I keep doing that until I lose, and then I'll go back to minimum because I still walk out ahead, right? But the way I changed it as well, I altered my betting system. Was that if I ever matched against the dealer, so say the dealer got 20 and I got 20, like if I ever stood against the dealer, then I would actually reduce my bet back down to the minimum, because I always took it as I always see it as a bad omen of okay. This is a bad omen, so I'm just going to take it back down to minimum bet because I'm most likely going to lose the next hand. And sure enough, like sometimes I'd win the next hand and sometimes I'd lose, you know? But if I lost, at least I didn't lose like $30 instead of losing only $10. Now let me tell you of the legendary night where I ended up walking out with double my initial investment in half an hour. So we get in. I'm excited because I think it's the first time I'm trying a progressive betting system, or the second time, and I've got basic strategy known like it's the back of my hand, right? Like I'm real into it. I'm really into blackjack at this stage. Like blackjack is my life at this stage. I go in there, and I got up to like a stack of $60 chips, the $60 worth of chips, and I look at it. I've just been winning. I've been on this massive win streak. I just looked at it. I kept looking. I'm like, there's something wrong here, and I removed that entire stack except for $10. So I removed $50 from the stack. I'm currently sitting at $170 or something like that. Just in my pool of chips. And like I just had this bad feeling. My friend's like, why did you remove all the chips? Like you could have won $120. You could have won $120 off that. I was like, I just don't feel good, man. I feel like I'm gonna lose this next hand. And I think the dealer got like 20. The next hand I ended up taking 18. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't end up losing $60 and I lost the $10. And a couple of hands later, 4 or 5 hands later, I'm now on $200. I actually was on a win streak, and I ended up losing on the win streak. I've got $200 in chips. I'm like, okay, I'm cashing out, boys. And that was a legendary night where I had $200 after half an hour. Like, you can clearly see I enjoy blackjack, considering I've spent basically the past 45 minutes talking about blackjack. In saying that, I've actually run out of water. And it's been roughly an hour. So after this round, I'm gonna go refill my water and take a little couple minute break, and I'll be back with a fresh glass of water and a not so hoarse voice. And I'll see you in just one moment. Just let me. I just want this round's counter to go to 56. Okay. Now let me just put the overlay on. It says I'm away from the keyboard. Okay. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm back. Okay, seeing that it's been 2 hours and I've got 15 rounds away from being round 70, I should be able to hit that in about 15 minutes, hopefully. And at that stage, I might just... Seeing that's my goal for tonight, I might just end the stream. I'll probably end the stream at around 70. Just because I've got to do a couple of things before I head off to bed for tonight. And I don't want to be too tired, because I am feeling a bit of sleepiness coming on. I don't want to be too tired for while playing this and I'm going down for a dumb reason. I'm actually kind of happy that I am playing pretty solidly. I'm playing pretty solid at the moment. just because I wasn't too sure how it ended up going today. After taking a little bit of a break. I just need to find a new topic to talk about. Like, I didn't think I'd rather things to talk about with poker so quickly. I mean, it was like an hour. It was like an hour conversation, dialogue about poker. But I might actually talk about things like. So I'm an anime fan, right? And I collect anime merchandise. And at the moment, I'm collecting Dot Hack sign merchandise. Now, Dot Hack sign, well, Dot Hack merchandise, I should say. Dot Hack was an Japanese RPG from the early 2000s, so early 2003 and all that sort of stuff. But it was also an anime slash manga slash series of light novels during that time period as well. And I'm just like, I spent a lot of money on it. I spent a lot of money on it, and like I've got film stills coming in. I've got some scripts, director scripts from the games, and it's like the interesting thing about collecting is that when you start, you may have a solid idea of what you want to do, right? What you're going to do with that collection. Like originally, I said, I'm only going to collect officially licensed products that are sold in store. That's what I said. Little did I know is that I ended up branching out to, okay, I'm going to start collecting advertisements, film stills, all that sort of stuff. It's not officially licensed merchandise. It was never sold in a store, but it's one of a kind merchandise. It's got one of a kind product or items, I should say. It's like film stills. Like, well, the film still I do have, the animation still I do have. It was a reproduction one, so it was produced to be sold to collectors, sort of thing. But I do have some pre animation cell sketches which weren't intended for sale. And I think it's interesting how when you start with something, you think you got this solid idea of how you want to do it, and then you end up changing how you do it as you go along. Like, you end up adjusting it. You end up adjusting your original goals to fit your new goals, or you end up adjusting your original idea to adapt to new ideas you got. And like I think that's actually true of a lot of things. I feel like when you first plan to do something, say like, now let me talk about things I don't know anything about. Let's say you're building a bookshelf. Like, I don't know nothing about building a bookshelf. Let me just preface the conversation with that. I don't know anything about woodwork. I failed woodwork in grade 7, right? Never did it since. I failed it. Now, say with this bookshelf, your original plan is it's gonna be floor to ceiling, and it's gonna have 10 shelves, right? Let's just imagine 10 shelves floor to ceiling. Now, your plan is that you're gonna carve in some insignia around in it, or the shelves are gonna have some insignia on along the edges. Well, whatever, right? As you're doing it, you might decide, oh, I only want 5 shelves, or I want actually 12 shelves, and you adjust the project as you're doing it from what you're originally going to do to how you feel like it should better suit your needs. I think collecting's in the same vein as that. I feel like if say you collect trading cards, say you only want to, so I know the trading cards game I know best is Pokemon, Now, it's with Pokemon, say your original intention is to collect all the base set, just the original unlimited base set. No fourth print, no Shadowless, no first edition, just regular old first edition. I mean, regular old unlimited. You could complete all that, and be like, now let me go jungle, or let me go Shadowless, let me go first edition, let me go fourth print. You know, let me expand a little bit, right? And then it starts. That's where you start heading into the deep spiral of being a collector. Because like, I feel like the thing is with collecting, is that it's the hit of receiving a new item which comes close to completing a collection, or that expands the collection that makes you excited, and gives you that joy of being a collector. And so when you got this definitive stopping point where it's like, or this definitive barrier of what you will and won't collect, it's sort of, when you first decide that, you don't have experience as a collector, so you're like, oh yeah, this should be fun. But when you actually have that experience as a collector, you're like, wait a minute, I want this now as well. It's just interesting. I might actually go to round 60. I'm feeling a little bit more fatigued than what I thought it would. But just warning you guys now that we'll do that, and I'll be on again tomorrow, streaming from round 60 onwards. Hopefully, as long as I don't go down in the next 2 rounds, which I highly doubt I will. But I'm just going to quickly finish this off. I'm actually really impressed and proud of myself that I managed to keep a consistent dialogue going on for the past 2 hours. I don't think I had it in me, but apparently I do. I might have to come again tomorrow, but with some pre-planned topics. So not topics which I have what's the word I'm looking for? That I've like pre-written up and I'm reading off the script, but like just like topics where it's just talking points of what I can say, and how I can and just keep a dialogue with you guys, so it keeps you guys interested, so you're not just watching like there's a blank stream going on. Just double lane these last 3 zombies. I actually overheated my flamethrower. As I was saying, just double lane these last 3 zombies. It's pretty safe to do so. Just gonna wait for it to cool down a little bit. I just don't know how these zombies just last this long, man. It just seems so weird. Nice one. Go on to the last round. Apparently my friend invited me to a party in PlayStation 4 when I was still online. I didn't see it. Didn't realise I didn't see it. Probably have to explain to him what happened, but I don't think he'd be too upset. Oh, there's a drop. What is it, boy? Oh, insta-kill. Let's make this easy. Okay, that's gonna be me for today, guys. Thank you for joining, and I want to say thank you to your boy Pato and uh, LX LXY Rex. Thank you guys for the follows. I really appreciate it. Let me just turn off my controller. Turn off controller. Thank you for following. I hope you guys did enjoy the stream, and I see you guys in a future stream. And enjoy the rest of your evenings or nights. See ya.